I think it's an important topic you bring up. One of the reasons we highlighted this for our programmer, we cover all kinds of big global trends, macro trends, economic trends, is that this is a society level issue. And as you said, we are seeing clearly in the data large numbers of childbearing age women leaving the workforce after they have their first or second child for a period of time. We'll get to that in a moment about what challenges that creates in sort of the resume gap and how to adapt to it. But these are not sort of issues that just happen in a small community. This is truly a macro issue that can have a huge drag on the entire economy,
Mhm.
especially in countries where the demographics are not particularly favorable. So you need everybody who's able bodied and able to work to contribute, and you're not seeing it. So as you've gone around and you've been doing your reporting and you've been talking with other parents, um, I feel like we see the tip of the iceberg, that the data always lags the reality, that we're
Yeah.
seeing little bits and pieces. Is it your sense as a reporter and as a researcher that there's actually a much more significant unemployment issue going on, especially with America's working mothers, that the data actually hasn't picked up yet, and we're facing a much bigger issue than we even think we are?
Yeah, I do. And I think that, many people, many advocacy groups have sort of been sounding the alarm for the past 5 years. And I think this is a pretty clear indication that most people haven't been listening. I think that we had all these solutions proposed on how we could stop this from happening, and those were not listened to.
So as we think about this resume gap issue, that we do have a large number, especially women, but there are some men too who are having to step away from the workforce for a period of time to be caretakers and then trying to reintroduce themselves into the workforce. It's not new. The challenge has been around for some time. But are you seeing novel approaches, how you can take the parenting experience and translate it directly into qualifications for any number of careers and roles, and potentially even giving yourself some advantages in certain roles?
What I have seen quite a bit is research to really support the idea that being a caregiver does make you a better employee. It really hones your skills in multitasking, in communication, in negotiation. There are so many things. There are even things like, I have two elementary school age children, and you look at how PTAs function. They're running businesses. They're, these groups of many women who are out of the traditional workforce who are still using the same skills that they would have honed and that would really take you far in a job, like management, like event planning, like raising money. Even if you're not keeping the money, you are still making money, right? You're fundraising. And I think that what we just need is a greater systemic acknowledgement of all that, because the research is there. And I think people will tell you, I hired someone who was a stay at home mom for 10 years or a stay at home dad for 10 years. And that is my best employee, because that's the person who understands how to anticipate needs. That's the person who knows how to self direct, because this is someone who was essentially working without a boss for 10 years and who had to figure out how to structure their entire day, and who had to figure out how to multitask, and who had to set the schedules and set the routines, and to, manage the household, and to make sure everybody within the household had their own responsibilities communicated clearly to them. So I think that there has been plenty of evidence to suggest that people with resume gaps are excellent hires. It's just up to hiring managers and companies to actually take those people seriously. Unfortunately, this coincides with a time when every job is probably, there's probably, I don't even know how many applicants for each job at this point, but the job market is tough right now. And obviously, you need to be able to stand out among the competition. And unfortunately, I think that people with resume gaps are just kind of seen as undesirable hires at the moment.